Have you ever dropped your bike at a shop for a simple tune-up and left shocked by the bill? You're not alone. Shady tactics in repair shops are quietly cheating riders out of billions each year. In the next minute, we'll expose 9 surprising scams top US motorcycle mechanics sometimes use to pad their profits. Each trick is easy to miss, from hidden fees that sneak onto your invoice to fake emergency fixes that never needed doing. Read on to protect your wallet and keep your ride safe. Number 9. The chain and sprocket. Emergency replacement. Chains and sprockets wear out, but not nearly as fast as some mechanics claim. A common scam is for a shop to tell you your chain is dangerously stretched, or your sprockets are shark-toothed, pushing you into a pricey replacement long before it's needed. Here's the reality. A well-maintained chain can last 15,000 to 25,000 miles, sometimes more, with regular cleaning and lubrication. Mechanics know most riders don't measure chain slack themselves, so they rely on fear. They'll tug the chain, make a face, and warn that it's a safety hazard. The scam works because no rider wants a chain to snap at highway speed. It's terrifying. But in many cases, the chain is perfectly safe. The fix? Learn the specification. Most manufacturers list acceptable slack in the owner's manual, usually between 20 to 30 millimeters. Carry a simple ruler or ask to see the measurement before you agree. If the mechanic can't demonstrate the stretch is beyond spec, decline the job. As for sprockets, light hooking on the teeth is normal. Replacement is only needed when the teeth look sharp or bent. By demanding proof, you shut down one of the easiest scams in the book. Number 8. The phantom valve adjustment. Few maintenance jobs are as dreaded and expensive as valve clearance adjustments. Depending on the bike, this can run $500 to $1,000 since it involves pulling tanks, fairings, and the valve cover. Some shady shops abuse this by billing for a valve inspection that never happened. They bank on the fact that riders can't see the work, and that most engines don't show symptoms until far later. Here's the trick. They'll tell you the valves were slightly out of spec, charge you for several hours of labor, and hand the bike back untouched. How can you know? Honest mechanics will give you a before and after clearance sheet with each valve measurement. If your shop can't show documentation or photos of the open engine, question it. Also, check the service interval in your manual. Many modern motorcycles don't need a valve inspection until 15,000 to 20,000 miles. If they're pushing it at 6,000, it may be a scare tactic. Always ask, "Can you show me the measurements?" If they dodge, take your business elsewhere. Number 7. Premium oil and filter, bait and switch. Oil changes are the bread and butter of motorcycle service. And here's where another scam hides. Charging you for OEM filters and premium synthetic oil, then installing cheap generic parts instead. Some mechanics keep a stash of knockoff filters that cost a fraction of the price, but they'll bill you as if they used factory parts. Same goes for oil. They'll charge you for full synthetic when they pour in cheap bulk semi-synthetic. The danger? Cheap filters may lack proper bypass valves or use paper elements that collapse. Number 6. Brake pad and rotor padding. Brakes are safety critical, which makes them prime territory for manipulation. Many shops will claim your pads are dangerously thin when you still have thousands of miles left. Factory specs typically allow pads to wear down to 1 to 2 millimeters before replacement is required. Yet some mechanics will call it unsafe at 4 millimeters, doubling their sales by getting you to replace early. Rotors are another cash cow. A shady shop may suggest your rotors need skimming or replacing when they're perfectly serviceable. They'll point to a light groove and claim it's a hazard, when in fact minor scoring is normal. True rotor replacement is only needed when they're warped or worn below the minimum thickness stamped on the disc. Always ask, what's the pad measurement in millimeters? What's the rotor thickness compared to spec? If they won't provide numbers, they're padding the bill. A simple caliper tool lets you measure at home, and it's a $10 investment that can save hundreds in bogus brake jobs. Number 5. The suspension seal leak. Conjured fork seals are another favorite scam. A mechanic wipes a little oil or fork lube on your forks, then calls you over. "See that wet line? Your seals are blown. You need a rebuild." In truth, many forks weep a trace of oil after heavy use, and it can often be cleaned with a $5 seal saver tool. A true blown seal will leave oil streaks all the way down the fork leg and noticeably affect damping. The scam works because suspension rebuilds cost $300 to $500, and most riders don't know the signs. Shops cash in by convincing you of a safety issue, when a wipe with a rag would have solved it. Protect yourself by checking fork seals yourself before service. If you don't see fresh oil pooling at the fork bottom, it's likely fine. Ask the shop to physically show you leaking oil. And remember, a bit of grime on the fork stanchion isn't proof of failure. It's often just dirt mixed with a film of lubricant. Number 4. Battery bait and switch. Motorcycle batteries are notoriously expensive, especially AGM and lithium-ion types. Some unscrupulous shops will charge you for a premium battery, then quietly install a cheap lead-acid version. They pocket the difference, and you're left with a battery that won't last more than a year or two. Since most riders never inspect their battery once it's in the box, the scam often goes unnoticed. Spotting it is simple. Check the label. AGM and lithium batteries are clearly marked, and they weigh far less than standard lead-acid types. If you paid for lithium and the unit feels like a brick, you've been duped. Always ask to see the battery before it's installed, and get a receipt with the brand and model listed. The lifespan difference alone is huge. A real lithium battery might go 7 years, while a cheap flooded cell dies in 2. Don't let them pocket $200 on a battery swap you never got. Number 3. Phantom diagnostic hours. Electrical gremlins are the bane of every rider. When a check engine light or starting issue appears, some shops pad the bill by claiming hours of diagnostic labor. In reality, many modern bikes only need a 5-minute plug-in with an OBD2 or factory scan tool to pull the fault code. Instead, shady mechanics charge 2 to 3 hours of wiring trace or circuit diagnostics when all they did was connect a laptop. The trick works because electrical work is mysterious to most riders. To fight it, ask, "What code did you pull? Can I see the report?" Honest mechanics will show you the readout in minutes. If the shop can't produce proof of codes or wiring diagrams, but still bills hundreds in diagnostic time, that's a scam. Buy your own $30 code reader for common bikes. It pays for itself the first time you avoid being billed $250 for a 5-minute scan. Number 2. OEM pricing for aftermarket parts. Another classic scam is charging factory OEM pricing while installing cheap aftermarket parts. For example, you're billed $200 for OEM brake lines, but what you got were $40 generic rubber lines. Or they charge for a $150 OEM air filter and throw in a $20 off-brand instead. Because most riders don't check the branding on installed parts, they never notice. The problem isn't just money, it's performance and safety. OEM parts are built to precise specs and tested for your bike. Knockoffs may not fit correctly, or they may degrade quickly. Imagine bargain gaskets failing mid-ride and dumping oil on your rear tire. Always ask to see packaging and part numbers. If you're paying OEM rates, confirm it's a genuine factory part. If the mechanic resists, that's a red flag. Transparency protects both your bike and your bank account. Number 1. Sabotage for repeat business. This is the darkest scam of all, and thankfully rare, but it happens. Some dishonest shops deliberately create problems so you'll come back. Stories circulate of mechanics leaving bolts loose, over-tightening chains until they snap prematurely, or even unplugging sensors so the check engine light returns. It's essentially sabotage disguised as bad luck. The motive is simple: repeat business. You'll blame the bike, not the mechanic, and hand them more money to fix the issue they caused. Protecting yourself means being observant after every service. Test ride the bike immediately. If a new problem appears that wasn't there before, question it. Inspect visible items like drain plugs, axle nuts, and chain tension yourself. A trustworthy shop will welcome scrutiny. A shady one will get defensive. If you suspect foul play, don't return and warn other riders. These scams work because mechanics hold the technical advantage. They know most riders don't have the tools or knowledge to check every job. But by learning the signs, asking for proof, and demanding transparency, you flip the script. Remember, your money and your safety are on the line. Every scam on this list has cost US riders thousands.